evening and welcome to what is another episode of Young Climber. We have definitely returned with yet another inspirational story here in the kingdom of Eswatini. And today we are exploring the creative industry with Khosi Shabalala, who is of course a makeup artist. I'm sure you've heard the name. Today we are bringing in here to unpack her beautiful story. You know her as the makeup artist, but today we get to know Khosi a little personally. Khosi, welcome to Young Climber.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much.
You know, I'm very excited to have you. Like I already said, everyone knows your work, but you know, maybe they don't know the detailed story behind the person that Khosi really is, you know, on a personal level. But today I am here to just dig deep and beyond the makeup artist, you know. Just to start off with, Khosi, can I take you back to being raised by, you know, a force of women, which was, of course, your mothers, your aunt, your grandmother. How was that, you know, growing up, and how did it influence the person that you've become?
So thank you so much for your question. But first of all, those ladies, and I think that's probably the biggest thing that I inherited from them is an inability to sit still or an inability to be complacent in life in terms of where I am. Yeah. I mean, my grandmother raised 7 kids and she would work. So it was, you never ever saw her sitting down. Yeah. So being idle is just not something, behavior, her favorite thing to say was, sebenda ungenu sebenda. So that's probably, I think, the biggest lesson is just always working, always pushing to, you know, pushing your own boundaries as well. So yeah, very loving as well. Yeah.
And you described yourself as maybe a bit of a nerd, you know, growing up. I'd say a bookworm. How did your mother's push, you know, for reading and expression influence your creativity today?
So my mom is a teacher, so you can already imagine structure and discipline was something that transferred not just from her classroom but into the home. Yeah. So she did not understand when there's so much to do inside the house, you know. So she definitely drew, reading books was just something that was standard in the house. Like you had to read, you know, in order to be able to express yourself. Also, I think also being an English teacher, she really wanted to make sure that we were able to express ourselves in that language. So yeah, that's when my love for books started as a very, very young kid.
And the other thing that I learned about you is that you moved through multiple schools, you know, I would say, and one high school, one primary, you know, as Poma. But how did these transitions for you, you know, being in Babane, next thing you're in Big Bend, how did these transitions shape your ability to thrive in new places and, you know, attending such top-tier institutions? How did it help you as a person?
So first of all, it just gave me a really big worldview. So attending schools like Waterford, for example, I'll speak on that specifically because we got kids from all over the world. So coming from such a small country and you realize there's a whole world out there, people that speak different languages, they have all these beautiful cultures. It really made me want to see where is this world that is outside, because your little world can seem very, very big. So it gave me that want for the world, and in that regard, you just become very adaptable, because obviously adapting to people as they're coming in because they don't speak the language. But one thing I loved about Waterford is that everybody that arrives in Form 1 has to do Siswati. So for that whole year. So if they can adapt, why can't I? Do you know what I mean? So yeah.
That's beautiful. And, you know, speaking of adaptability and, of course, different cultures, you've been fortunate enough to, I'd say, experience other cultures, other different countries in the world, such as Kuwait, USA, South Africa now, and the UK. You know, being or living in these different countries, how has that influenced your worldview, especially on the idea of beauty?
So first of all, one thing I realized is Africa, we are so rich in so many things. I think the world has made us believe that everything that is considered rich or trendy can only be found outside of here. So having lived there, I actually realized that there's so many things that we have here that are so accessible. Because living out there as well, like, guys, it really impilo. Here you can still like live within your means. You know, the stress levels are also not so high. It's not like a rat race. So we may not be rich in like money, but we're rich in so many things like time, comfort, and sense of community. Because out there, people don't, everybody's busy with their own thing. Whereas Lana, you still care about Makelwan. And when she can come and knock on your door and ask for salt, and you're not going to be mad about it. So yeah, it looks very glamorous, but this is still the best place to be, which is, I guess, why I'm here.
And then the other part of the question was just how it influenced your idea of beauty.
So beauty really does lie in the eyes of the beholder. Because with okay, I don't want to say beauty, because beauty is it's such a big umbrella to the industry. Beauty is the industry, but in makeup specifically, makeup is all about self-expression. So there is no one way to do it. You know, you kind of present yourself. This is my craft. This is how I do it. And yeah, but we've got it here. We absolutely have it here. They are not the standard.
You know, while you're speaking, I'm realizing so many other things, because I actually wanted to phrase it in such a way that, well, we see, if you haven't been exposed, we see beauty as different things, especially when it comes to makeup. I know in America, they tone it down a little than us. There's just... Do
they though?
I'd like to believe they do.
I mean, but I'd say maybe we're more still stuck in that 2016 era of like very like full on makeup, you know, yes. But everyone has kind of trended to a more softer look and feel. Yeah.
And now back to the story, Khosi. Before you dig deep into the makeup, can you tell us about the moment that you realized that working for someone else wasn't for you, and how it propelled you to then opening up Ambiance Mobile Spa?
When you're working for somebody, you have targets, right? And when you realize actually how much money you're making for someone else. And to be fair, they have put in the infrastructure, they've put up the buildings, they've done the marketing and whatever, but the reason why the clients come back is because of you. So if I have the power to even have clients book in advance to say, oh, when they leave, they're already booking their next appointment, why could I not, in all honesty, do that for myself, you know? And just kind of start small and build up from there. So that was my whole thing. And
can you talk about how you've managed to juggle, you know, motherhood with the hustle? Because we know that, you know, being a makeup artist demands a lot of emotional and, of course, physical energy. How do you manage to split it into two and still be a mother for your children, but still be, you know, the thriving makeup artist?
So I've been very blessed in that, like, at the beginning of my career, I used to work from home. So my clients would come to me at the house. Of course, later on, I realized that was also not ideal, because the different people coming in and out of your house, and also that's your kids' space. So for me, in the beginning, when in their formative stages, I was there, you know. So even though I'm with a client, but I'm seeing them and they are seeing me as well. So me leaving them came later when they started to understand the nature of my work. So yeah.
Okay. You've also built a career in the industry that's both glamorous and very, very demanding. For us on the outside world, what's the one myth about makeup artistry you wish people understood a little more?
The fact that there's nothing glamorous about it. I think the end product is perhaps glamorous in terms of the way that it looks, but the work itself, it's usually quite thankless. It's very, our equipment is very heavy, because we also walk around with lights and so many things, our chairs. So it's hard work, you know, and you constantly need to push yourself and set new standards for yourself as well. So it's not just all blushes and, you know, it is very like physically hard work, more so than people realize.
All right.
Yeah.
And then, you know, there was a time that you enrolled in psychology studies, but, you know, you couldn't complete that. Yeah. What does it mean for you to now return to that dream?
So, first of all, we all know that mental health is a very big thing, more especially in the Black community. And I think it's because we don't really talk about these things much. Like, we can handle any part of the body being broken except for the brain. So realizing this, that even yourself, you kind of grow up repressed, kind of like emotionally, you don't really speak out. So my job, I speak to people a lot. I mean, I've mastered small talk, but like once you get to know people, you really get into like the deeper stuff. So I realized that I actually really enjoy talking to people. And then I thought, oh, okay. You know, people would be like, oh, you give really great advice. And then I thought, oh, okay, maybe I should look into it. And when I did start it, I found that I really enjoyed it. You know, it's a pity that I didn't complete it, but my plan is to go back and finish it.
And I think with that said, it's where we noticed that maybe makeup has then, you know, ignited your passion for people. Can you share a powerful moment where a client reminded you of your purpose? Because I know maybe there were times where you felt like, hey, this makeup thing.
Every day.
Yeah.
Every day is a struggle.
Yeah. Is there a time where a client really reminded you of your purpose?
To be honest, there isn't one moment. There's so many moments. I mean, just being a part of people's forever memories like that, it's just, it's such a heartwarming experience, you know, that people will be looking at their pictures 20 years from now. Yeah. And your work, whether you're here or not, your work will live on in one way or another.
Yeah.
But I honestly don't have one pivotal moment. There've just been so many that have built me to the makeup artist that I am today and what I'm able to give to my clients, because it's a give and take, it's a push and pull, you know. Yeah. And I kind of take my cue from my clients. Yeah.
And the one thing about you is that I think it's safe to say you have one foot in Eswatini, one foot in South Africa, because we still hear of people, you know, getting their makeup done by Khosi, and you're like, because it's South Africa. Yeah. How have you managed to incorporate both cultures maybe in the way that you do your makeup, I'd say?
Okay, well, I mean, it's honestly pretty much the same thing. It's just that I would say being in South Africa, it's more amplified. So there's more opportunities in terms of like getting into TV, production, movies. There's a lot more things that you can do. But like being myself, I'll always be myself wherever I am. So there hasn't been that much of like a difficulty for me in kind of being in two places. But what I love is that it's allowed me to highlight what Eswatini does have. Okay. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like kind of, and also be able to use this platform to highlight other people that are here, because we get a lot of tourism from South Africa here. Yeah. So when people are looking for services and stuff like
you
that,
can recommend someone.
100%.
Beautiful. But Khosi, when we come back, you know, we will be talking about the difficulties you faced as a businesswoman in the industry, but that is only when we return. Welcome back. If you just tuned in on today's episode, we are with celebrity makeup artist Khosi Shabalala. We're just digging deep into now, Khosi, the idea of makeup and how it brings, you know, self-esteem, healing, and how women just find themselves, you know, through makeup. Would you say women find their confidence in the beauty of makeup?
100%. Yeah. And for me, I think the most beautiful things has been watching the transition of how women feel about makeup. Because when we started back in the early 2000s, it was more like it's for people that have low self-esteem because you're trying to cover something up, you know, that was the whole thing. But now people actually seek it because they realize that it's to enhance. It's not taking anything away. It's not covering anything. It's just for you to feel your absolute best, you know, on the inside and on the outside. You know, so I've loved being a part of that and just watching women see that makeup is actually a powerful tool. It's not a negative thing, and it's not for vapid women, because I think the correlation was that you must be a bit of a dummy to maybe even work in makeup is because I'll correct that right now. I was very smart in school. Actually. But
it's just a profession like many others, and I feel like, you know, in the morning I was just thinking makeup is a technology, to be honest,
because really is.
Not everyone can do it. Not everyone can
but
do it.
even the power of just putting on lipstick, because it's not about having the full face, it could be just the brow, it could be just that lipstick, because women usually have one lipstick that they absolutely love to use, and when they wear it they feel like you can't touch me.
But Khosi, you've transitioned, I'd like to say, through so many businesses. Can you just talk about the challenge of opening one business, having to leave it, because you've transitioned through many countries as well. Your challenges as a businesswoman, as an entrepreneur, and how you've managed to then overcome them.
Yeah, to be honest, the women that I love so much have probably been the biggest challenge. Not in a bad way, but just in a, when you deal with so many people, it's almost like you even kind of start to forget who you are, because you constantly have to adjust to the person that's sitting in front of you. But like as a business, there've been some challenges, but honestly not that many. I really can't sit here and say, oh, I couldn't do this, or I wasn't able to do that. Truly, and I think this is probably why I felt like with what I do, it was given to me. I did not seek this, but the way that doors open, whenever I just tell myself, okay, this is what I want to do, things just happen. People even arrive to kind of help me with that. So I wish I could say my only challenge has been, yes, moving to another country, starting from scratch, because I had to start my whole client list from zero. As much as people knew me on social media, I think.
And you've worked and grown internationally, just like you said, but what advice would you have for young Maswati seeking the same opportunities? Because, we've seen makeup artists grow here, but maybe the space is a bit too cramped. Now we have a lot of people and the market for them is not really here, because I think makeup, we're not there yet. What advice would you give to those people?
Honestly, I'd say just be yourself. Like, be yourself, find your niche and be comfortable with that niche. The biggest problem most people have is bafuna kopa what somebody else is doing. My story is not your story. Because advise oh, okay, buy this makeup palette, and you'll be like, oh, it's very nice, but maybe when I accept it, it's very important to have a solid identity in the beauty community, because there are so many of us. So what's going to make you stand out? And if you're doing what I'm doing, it's kind of pointless. So honestly, and fear has no place if you're trying to get anywhere. Get rid of fear, get rid of doubt, because your people will find you. As long as you're operating as yourself, your people will find you.
And I've already mentioned that you are a seasoned makeup artist. We knew you when makeup wasn't even in fashion, you easily one of the greatest makeup artists here in Eswatini, Naktiwa makeup artist kuthiwa Khosi Shabalala. In the newspapers, nasiqala kubona makeup artists sabona ngawe. But now, what does success look like in this season of your life? Because you could have felt like, because I was on the Times of Eswatini on Saturday, I've made it, that is success for me. But that definition can change over the years as you experience new things, especially breaking into international spaces, being a celebrity makeup artist. Maybe now that's your definition of being successful.
Okay, so for me, first of all, I want to shy away from that celebrity makeup artist. I don't like it, because immediately it makes people think you're inaccessible, you're unattainable, and you are difficult probably to work with, because sometimes is it the makeup artist or is it the person that she's now working on? So maybe celebrated would be a better word, like celebrated for my work, but maybe not a celebrity in that regard. So for me, success looks like my kids are in school. It looks like the lights are on. It looks like I'm able to pass the baton, because the other thing is you don't want to hold on to this crown until your gnarly fingers cannot even be removed from it. Place it on the next person. Ganjalo, ganjalo. Just creating a culture of not gatekeeping your talents and what could help the next person. So my success looks like everybody I've ever collaborated with till today. I'm not above those things. Like, I can never say, right, that's it. I don't need anyone. I don't need anything anymore. And and that people still trust me with their brands and with their faces. That is what success looks like for me.
Beautiful. I like that definition so much. But now, can you talk about your upcoming masterclass? Firstly, where the idea came from. You're speaking about giving back to the people and passing on the baton, which is basically what you're doing with this masterclass. You're teaching other people how to become. Yes. It's more about empowering women
100%.
or makeup artists. Can you just talk about the birth of the idea mainly?
Okay, so I mean, even right now, my face was done by another makeup artist, right? Lovely girls, Welo, she's in Babane. So I just believe that there's such a big pie.
Yeah.
Even if I can teach you how to do what I do, there will come a time where you will need me, where you will not be able to do your own face. Just as I am sitting here today, as much as I have brushes and whatnot, I went to someone else to get my face done. So for me, this is my 18th year, by the way, in the beauty industry. So that for me was like, people have been supporting me for 18 years. That is crazy. So I didn't want it to just be, come, let's do makeup. It needed to be so much more than that, which is when I then thought, let me collaborate with, first it was women. And then it became, no, actually we have so much to offer Eswatini. And since now I've got my foot in both countries, and we get a lot of people coming in, whether through bushfire and things like that, this would be a great way to showcase the things that people can find, look, see, do when they come to the country, whether they're looking for services, places to stay, restaurants to eat. So it's not just about makeup, like it's so much more than that, yes. And it's also an opportunity for us to network, meet new people that you might not have met before.
Yeah. And can we also talk about the sponsors or the people that you've collaborated mainly to bring us this masterclass? I saw Bose is part of, is it Boss or Bose?
Bose Foundation.
Bose Foundation, yes, is a part of, the whole masterclass. We know them for giving back to our community. The intention or the purpose of these collaborations?
So something as small as not being able to afford sanitary care. Most of us take that for granted. And I honestly didn't realize some of these things until I became a girl mom. And the thought that there's somebody's child out there that can't even have sanitary stuff to be able to go to school, I thought, okay, I know Anele personally, and I've watched her do this work. And I've always wanted to work, but I didn't see how I could connect it to makeup kanjani, because even vukani bomake basebenza ngetandla nami ngisebenza ngetandla, but how do I connect the two? Yabo. And then I discovered Luna. I didn't even know that we had like a skincare brand like Hi. I was so excited, and I've been using their products. They're amazing, and they work with Vugani Bomage. So I thought, okay, through that. And then Anele, again, like I said, I know her personally, and I thought, okay, maybe I could work with her through her foundation. So I had to find a creative way to get into that space. But yeah, like I'm grateful for the opportunity more than anything. Like, yeah, just to highlight all these businesses, as many as we can, honestly. Yeah.
And for someone who's looking at this and maybe they want to attend, or maybe that'll be their stepping stone into becoming a greater makeup artist or learning new techniques. We did say makeup is a technology, and with makeup you need to continuously learn. It moves with the trends. We're not drawing those one-line eyebrows anymore.
Thank God.
What are you hoping those people will take away from this experience?
I'm really hoping that they will leave with just a holistic view of makeup, and not just look at it as just taking your pencil and appreciating the art behind it, but also just the feel good factor. I mean, if they do buy these tickets, or rather not if, when they buy these tickets, they will be doing more than just attending a makeup class. They will be keeping a girl child in school. They will be helping those lovely women that nabo to continue to progress with what they are doing. So yes, you'll be buying a ticket to a masterclass, but you'll be doing so much more than that, even as an individual. One ticket can do so much.
Beautiful. I think we will be leaving the details of the masterclass that is. But Khosi, I know after hearing you speak so much, as a mother, entrepreneur, and a creative, how do you ensure that you stay grounded and continuously pour into other people's cups? Because it seems like that lesson that your grandmother taught you, is definitely manifesting.
So this year, I actually made a conscious decision to do more things for myself. Because I think sometimes in wanting to do certain things, we are at the core, and you're just about getting things done. But for me to be a healthy service provider, a healthy mom, and all of those things, I have to take care of me first. Because if I'm not happy and I'm showing up to you because don't get thinking it's not going to be a very good session even for you, because energy, though intangible, is very transferable, and I could ruin your whole day because I've brought myself and I'm not in the right space. So doing more things for myself, and it could be things like just getting my nails done.
I know.
Yeah. Making sure my nails are done. I may not look like this every day. In fact, I don't, but yeah, like I put me first. Yeah.
Very beautiful. And if young Khosi could see the woman that you've become today, what do you think she would say to you, and what would you say back to her?
I don't know what she would say to me, but I would tell her that I am so proud of us. I am so proud of us, and I feel like we are truly living. Do it even when you're afraid, because my fear is there all the time. I always worry, am I going to get this right? Am I going to execute what the client actually wants? But I am, in my own special way. But more than anything, I'm just proud of us. We pushed through, even at a time when people said, what is this makeup?
Yeah.
What is this? We don't understand it. I mean, even now, people will still try and make you feel like, like you're saying, La Swatini, we still need to kind of grow that thing where we debunk the whole thing around makeup being for a certain type of people as well. But yeah, no, I'm very proud of us.
And, speaking on that point, just before we wrap up our conversation, Khosi, and not only the young people of Eswatini, the families watching this, can I please go ngiyozama makeup? And they're like, hey, just that backward nature. What would you say to the families to support their children, because this is a profession and it could open so many doors like it has for you?
100%. And I think parents need to understand that children don't come in a box. They don't come labeled. Some kids are artistic.
Yeah.
And if you insist that they go a scientific route, or they end up feeling suicidal, overwhelmed, and all of these things, which brings about, again, the mental health issues that you will then struggle with, more anxiety and all of that. Just allow your kids to be. For example, if your child wants to be a musician, at least let them go and do engineering, so that maybe they have the supportive degree, because I know parents love to see a degree. Yeah. But kids are not the same. Some kids are more artistically inclined, and it's okay to listen to your kids and ensure that whatever career they're choosing, there must be a clear plan. It can't just be, no, I just want to do makeup because of makeup. No. Like, what are you going to do to ensure that the makeup is a full-on career? So I think parents just need to, like, they know themselves. Give them an opportunity to get to know them. Because most of us, our parents get to know us only later in life. Yeah.
True. I can't add on to that. Thank you so much, Khosi, for joining us, taking your time to honor this invitation. I hope that our conversation, or the words that you've been parting, will be inspirational to one of the young Emaswati who see themselves as a big makeup artist, or just being in the creative or beauty industry growing up, and attate the advice of accepting practical skills here in the Kingdom of Eswatini. But thank you once again, Khosi, for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
And that is how we wrap up the show, Babugile Makaya. I hope this was of great benefit to you, and do continue following us on all our social media platforms as Eswatini TV to see who we'll be having next here on Young Climber. But for tonight, it is good night and God bless.